Ladies and gentlemen, this is Mampolo from Mampolo's Corner. Renee on my side. Guys, I don't hear say USA. I like my USA people. USA don't place visa ban on most, or you see all those politicians when rig election. When make our election be hell on earth. US don't place ban on all of them. You see all of them. There's the news. The intern when I hear from you, they say there are many. So not be small. Okay, una want spoil Nigeria finish. Make una run leave them. Una not hear where una want spoil Nigeria finish. Make una run go America. Now that all una building them. Make una come UK. You very soon una go hear from UK. Una go hear from other part of Europe. Watch and see. You see this people one day for this list. Other European countries, you go see them, they go to back them. Other Western countries, they go to ban them. You don't know Western people. you think that they laugh with you. Una go carry the country finish, turn them upside down. Take this say, when una come out for office, una run go US, una go run go UK, una run go Germany and go stay. All right. You don't know that most of the Nigerians are working hard there. So make sure you cannot come in again. You don't see petition when they sign? They sign millions of people. Thousands of people that they sign up, banned all of them. You know, as you are watching me now, if you know the name of person when they're banned, the person when you feel say you go there for that list, comment on the comment section. Anybody when your spirit say, no, this person must be in the list of these banned people for USA. No, I say make you comment the name for the comment section. Because I know many of them for my mind though. Many of them when they don't ban inside my mind now, I know them. But if you get the ones where you know, when must they for that list of banned people, they can't enter USA. I say comment their name on the comment section. USA don't ban, they say many of them, many of the Nigerians, when they say, when the Wahala come, they go wrong. One create fight. If you not create the fight, when the fight come, you go there fighter. We go to watch una from here. Because when we the war on una, you people are not hearing. For those who never hear the news, when USA they ban them. All right, now, watch video.
Now, the United States has imposed entry restrictions on more Nigerians for undermining the democratic process during the 2023 general elections.
Yes.
The action is the latest in a series of visa restrictions imposed on Nigerian individuals in recent years. Nigeria's election tribunal this month was to begin hearing opposition petitions challenging President-elect Bola Tinubu's victory in the disputed February presidential vote. Let's now turn to former Nigerian Consul General in Atlanta, that's Ambassador Joe Keshi, to share his perspective on the effectiveness or otherwise of the U.S. imposition of visa restrictions on Nigerian electoral offenders and how it could help strengthen democracy in the country.
Right.
Good afternoon, Mr. Keshi. Thank you for joining us here on Newsday. Or Ambassador Keshi, I should say.
And thanks for having me.
Thank you. Now, Ambassador, let's begin.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Let's begin with the basics. This is not the first time, we've seen any visa restrictions. We've seen something similar in preceding years. Just wondering how effective you think this particular restrictions would be in actually dissuading electoral offenders to refrain from such activities.
Well, it depends on how the U.S. implements its decision. But the truth of the matter is that it's not really good enough that another country is imposing its will on us, and more because we have refused to do the right thing.
That's right.
We have refused to punish offenders who have broken the laws of this country.
Yes.
And so we are all excited that another country is doing this for us. It's not good enough. And secondly, the U.S. itself has not really named the people that they are imposing these visa sanctions on. It's very important, if it's going to have any impact at all, for them to be kind enough to name the people that they are imposing sanctions on. Because if you want to go by the last election, it will be a huge list of, people across board, from INEC officials, both at the at the federal level, at the commission, and at the state level, various things that were done by INEC officials or what they call them, returning officers and the rest of them, not to talk of members of the security forces. I mean, the list would be huge. Jesus. So it would be helpful if the list is published, and that would really, but if anything is going to be meaningful, it is what the government at home does that will be more meaningful. If it decides to take those who created problems during the election, if it decides to take them through the court process and possibly jail a few of them, and I've said this before, including some state governors, and until that is done, every election year, we're going to come back and have this conversation. The U.S. will decide it's going to sanction people, and then, life goes on as normal.
Thank you.
All right, Ambassador Keshi, it's almost a paradox here because, first of all, the U.S. are not just talking the talk, they're also walking the walk. But here in Nigeria, the president has actually given a pass mark and actually hailed the process as being very, very transparent. And it seems to be a contradiction left, right, when you look at it closely. Because on one hand, the U.S. have said that they are not happy with the outcome of these elections and the dramatic personnel within the sphere of the elections have been sanctioned. But on the other hand, the president and the APC are still insistent that the process was almost flawless.
What do you expect them to say? 2 years after his defeat and the way and manner he left office, President Donald Trump, or former president of the United States, is still claiming that he won the election and that he was rigged out. And everybody knows, of course, the truth that he lost the election.
Oh, dear.
And so we find ourselves in the same situation, that the president and his party are claiming they won. And, the other parties have clear evidence. I was just reading one here in your studio, the BBC report about Rivers. Rivers remain a very controversial one. Look, it's the nature of politicians to do things like this. Since the election ended in this country, the APC has done extremely well in creating the narrative it wants the country to believe that the election was free, fair, and credible. And regrettably, and I must say this, regrettably, the media has also helped them to push that narrative.
Yes.
I'm reading, as I said, here in your studio, a report by the BBC, whether an investigation team or things like that, which Nigerian media house or journalist has tried to do any serious investigation to counteract these other narratives, particularly none that I know of. And that is part of the weakness of our system, part of the weakness of democracy. We are waiting for the people outside to do something to us or for us in this country. Whereas some of the things we should do to convince ourselves that we need to make some changes, we just all flow, go with the flow.
That's all.
We've accepted the result. You journalists have moved on. You help create the narratives that they want created. Who has done an investigative journalism to contradict these things? Just months after any election, even in South Africa, you see a lot of reports, books on the election. In this country, nothing. We all just move on. It has gone. Let's accept it. Yeah, of course, some people tell you it's God's will. That's it. So whether it's a paradox or not, that's the reality that here we live in.
Thank you.
Go and read the reports. Go and read the report of all the domestic and local observers. all the local and international observers. And see and read what they said about this last election. And you will understand the point they are trying to make. But you guys ignore that, and then you allow others to project what they want to project, and you call it a paradox. It's a paradox that we are living with, and obviously, because that's the only narrative there. We need something more credible to show people how many times, as a result of any any of those international reports or local reports being so highlighted and, put out in the public space, as we are doing now about because the U.S., announced that it will punish those who rig the election in Nigeria or those who, try to rig the election in Nigeria, whichever one they want to do. But look, the point is, a lot of things went wrong in our last election, period.
Thank you.
The second thing is that if we want to have a very clean, credible, free, fair election in this country, we must begin to hold people accountable. Mm-hmm. We must begin to punish. And that's what the law says. We must begin to play by the rules, play by the law books. We know them. There are videos of what people did during the election. There are inside the video, you find those who committed, who violated the election rules. In other times, the police would have put these videos together and begin to look for those people to prosecute them. Yes. And I'm not sure the police in Nigeria, that's their concern. Yeah. Their concern is, helping to put in place the next administration, and life goes on.
That's all. When I don't see that video, let me play you another one again. For people when their head they hot. Let me play another. Just watch the video.
Let me start by asking you, first of all, your reaction to the announcement today by the US that it's imposing visa restrictions on select unnamed Nigerians for apparently undermining the 2023 election.
It is a good news. It goes a long way to tell us that the US actually stays true to its values and to the ideals that binds countries, as a democratic society. I particularly took cognizance of the choice of words that Anthony Blinken used in announcing the visa restriction. And he said they are committed to deepening democracy and the rule of law. These are two things, democracy and the rule of law.
America have to help you people.
Democracy is the government of the people, for the people, and by the people.
Will you keep quiet?
The people, not about few individuals,
what do you know about democracy?
Which is what has happened. And then the rule of law is, the concept of the rule of law is entrenched in this doctrine that everybody is equal before the law, nobody is above the law, and the law is a set rule to which everybody abides by. It's not a law you set as you move, like the way the INEC chairman, he said this is the rule, and then got into the game midway in the match, he just changed the goalpost.
He changed it.
And so this is good news to us. We have made further requests, because oftentimes individuals and countries feel that visa restriction is not a big deal. Especially because they have alternatives to what would have ordinarily taken them to the U.S. But we have a deeper understanding of what that means. U.S. exercise what we call extraterritoriality for the most part.
Yes.
So it is not just being denied the access to the United States of America. Sometimes it sort of enhanced security in other countries to which they are partners.
Yes. Well, that would be more effective, wouldn't it?
That's exactly what they do. So, for example, if ordinarily, as a private citizen or a government official, you travel to the UK and you have a seamless security checks while you go in, with visa restriction on you to enter the United States, unknown to you, there are enhanced security checks that you find in our countries to which the American people have a partnership.
Yes.
But it also opens the person up and exposes that person to deeper background check in terms of the assets you have outside of the shores of the country, your communications and who you're communicating with, who are your medical service providers, where do you go and whatever you do. So it is like the case of somebody who has been, placed under a watch list.
That's right.
That's what it means. But there is even a broader aspect. If a visa restriction is placed on me, by extension, my entire family is under surveillance, so to speak, because they have what they call the web. When they conduct investigation, they have a web where one linked to the other one linked to the other, and it is expanded. It will surprise you, and then with time we will get to know individuals that are involved in it.
Yes, I was going to say, does it make a difference?
Yeah.
That the names of the people have not been made public?
Yeah, it is actually the law of the United States that if a visa, because visa is a personal request, unless America is taking certain steps specifically against that individual. And I think Anthony Blinken made it clear, it is not a visa restriction, it is not a sanction against the government of Nigeria or against the people of Nigeria. It's against the perpetrators of this election fraud.
Thank you.
Has that not gone again to establish what we have been talking about, that this election was marred with irregularity. This election was a Broadway show. This election is not something that in the eyes of the common man, we would all live and translate that story to our people. It's the worst election in the history of the Republic.
Ever.
Now, in 2019, there were visa restrictions, but never in terms of the magnitude as compared to this one. This is just the first step. So people don't take it that, okay, what does that mean? No, it's the first step. And this is how they progress. First, they place a visa restriction on you.
One.
Number two, they apply extraterritoriality in freezing your assets anywhere in the world. And number three,
Jesus.
they place you under criminal surveillance.
Good. When I don't see the video, this is because some people, some Nigerians, especially those who are outside, they are working hard to make sure that this, you see, this injustice must come to an end. Especially when it comes to election rigging, fraud, impunity, nobody question you. You do everything you like. No. You don't do election like this. You cannot be toying with the will of people. We don't allow, that is not allowed. Lots of people, both home and abroad, they are fighting very hard. You never finish, your more will be coming. Even the judges, you know, I need to do good job. I'm not joking. Objectively good judge work. You not be judges there, you bend, say this one, president let's select, and people in power. No, you must do good job. We need it. I'm not joking. If people are not doing a good job, we put you under visa ban as well. Most Nigerians who are seen abroad, people are working hard to make sure that no, this have to stop in Nigeria. When we are looking for who to vote, give us who we voted for. That's all we need. Is it too much? It's not too much. Some Nigerians that have been working hard. Now that's video one I want to play for you now. One of the Nigerians that have been working exceedingly hard to make sure that this injustice must come to an end is Farotimi. Farotimi is a strong barrister as well. For those who never see her as they work hard for America. He be like, say, when he give this speech finish, now America say, no, my head cannot carry this one again. He be like, say, when Farotimi give this speech finish, now American people listen to Farotimi finish, they say, no, this is injustice, we must act on this. He don't be like, say, because of these people when they rig election for Nigeria, all those people when call them, they said, yeah, politicians when they rig election for Nigeria. Farotimi don't use that con they insult the whole America. No, we must deal with those people. Now they can't give visa ban. They say this is for a start. For those who never see Farotimi, they dish out for America. They bite them. They bite them. Where you go hit them? They bite America. All right, now watch video.
Mr. Oko, a big thank you very much for the invitation, and Nateco US for the effort. Thanks to those who are in attendance. I was given the privilege of speaking to something that has been on my mind for some time. But I believe it is very important for the location of this discussion today. And I picked Nigeria, its democracy, and the subjectification of truth. Nigeria does not, I'm known for my definitions. I love defining. If I'm going to talk to a subject, I want to define it first.
It's all right.
And there are three key components to what I have chosen. Nigeria is democracy, and then the subjectification of truth. Nigeria does not require any definition anymore. It's a blessed land, ruined by horrible ruiners who pretend to be rulers. It will be bad enough if what we have in Nigeria are rulers. That will be bad enough. Rulers exist in time. They focus on preservation of power, and they are rarely burdened or bridled by vision. They are content with surviving in power. That is what rulers do. Leaders, on the other hand, are bridled by vision.
That's right.
So they see beyond their lifetime, and they are constrained by their vision in the choices that they would make. Unfortunately for my country, as blessed as it is, it has been cursed by ruiners. Never been blessed with leadership.
Oh dear.
That is Nigeria properly defined.
Now here they give back to them.
It's democracy, and that will lead me to the third part of what I want to talk about. The subjectification of truth. How do you subjectify truth? That is when you take a common precept, something that has universal application and meaning, and you bring it into a space, and it begins to have a different meaning because of the space of its application. That is the situation with Nigerian democracy.
Oh dear.
Because you actually have to Nigerianize what we have before you might call it a democracy. Democracies are impossible to have in environments where the law does not rule. Citizenship is impossible to uphold in environments devoid of the rule of law. Nigeria is one such environment. In the absence of the rule of law, Nigeria is ruled by impunity.
Jesus.
And that is why you would have situations where INEC would publish guidelines flowing from the Constitution, and it will proceed to do the exact opposite of what it had promised to do.
Oh dear
That is
me.
for the Nigerian audience.
Oh dear.
Because of the context of location, we must now talk to the subjectification of truth.
Yes.
Atlanta was my point of
Entry.
entry into the US on this particular trip.
It's all right.
And as I was being driven to where I would be staying, I drove past a place and it was pointed out to me that was MC Mushroom Pickens' house
You mean
in Riverdale, Atlanta.
man do that thing for Lagos?
A man could stand in broad daylight,
Very close to my house.
cameras on him, and he could tell the world, Yachukudi must not vote. He spoke as the state. The Nigerian state is criminal. MC Mushroom Pikin is not a government official.
And so low
There
more.
was a policeman stood not too far away from him
Yeah, policeman did that.
when he made his edict. And that edict stood. And we saw it in its full ramification on the 18th of March.
Yes.
But how does this relate to the context of our location, the location of this discourse?
And so
Our American friends will tell us we have a democracy, and that is why Nigeria must be protected and everything must be kept quiet. We must have peace. They speak peace to us, but they never talk to us about justice.
yes.
Those who run Nigeria bring their wealth to this land, and you give them succor.
Oh dear.
They carry your green cards, they carry your passports, they buy your citizenship, they buy homes in this place.
It's a shame.
You convict them here, you release them to Nigeria.
Yes.
If they were drug dealers, members of the Mahane drug cartel, you'd be busy talking about all kinds of sanctions on them. You wouldn't allow them in your country. But you have them living here. Their children are here. They ruin my country. I can't live in yours. I visit. And when I stay longer than 3 weeks, I'm already having withdrawal symptoms. All I want to do is go back to mine. But you make my country impossible to live in.
America
because
here?
of your subjectification of the truth. You sit down on a day-to-day basis and you preach down at us and you tell us about just how much democracy works for Africa. But you do everything to undermine our democracy because you give succor to criminals in your cities.
You give them hope.
I can't open a bank account in America because I'm a Nigerian. But the crooks ruining my country put their monies in your accounts. I can't open an account. The only crime is I'm a Nigerian.
This guy finished America.
A drug-indicted criminal
Jesus.
is about to become the president of my country. And you, Americans, are the ones normalizing the insanity.
You mean
When I speak to the subjectification of truth, it sounds sometimes like, actually, it's another word for hypocrisy.
That's it.
The hypocrisy of the Western world, particularly you continue to preach democracy, accountability, rule of law, and the rest to us. Your hypocrisy stinks.
But I said this in America here. The compound.
A couple of years ago, 3 years now actually, there was a massacre in Lagos State, at the Lekki toll gate to be specific.
Yeah.
The West has its highs all over our country. You got your eyes in the sky. You're everywhere. We know. You saw what happened. What did the West ever say? I'll tell you. There was a debate in the British Parliament. A certain gentleman, I believe his name is Torgen Hart. And he spoke blithely about how when Gowon relocated to the UK, he went to the UK with half of Nigeria's treasury. Well, I'll tell you something. In my tradition, we have a proverb. The thief does not do as much harm as the receiver of the stolen goods.
That's right.
The West has been the net receiver of our stolen commonwealth.
That's correct.
You have helped, please. You have helped to normalize the madness that has overtaken my country. Without you, we will not be in the mess we are in.
Guy finish America.
When Gowon took the wealth of Nigeria, where did he take it to?
Britain.
Took it to Britain. Brought some of it to America. And it is the same. Gowon is merely a tie.
Yes.
Every last two-bit criminal who has occupied public office in my country has one form of entry into this country or others like it behind the veneer of Christian correctness. You sit there and you legitimize evil in my own country. I'll tell you another one.
Too bad.
A British general was recalled from retirement, and I believe he was sent to jail in addition to being recalled from retirement and dismissed from the army. What was his offense? He claimed about £50,000 more than he was entitled to in child education benefit. That was what this general did. How many Nigerian generals, civil servants, public officers have brought their monies into your coffers? So please, friends owe their friends the truth. If you guys are truly our friends, talking about Americans now, if you are truly our friends, don't preach at us. Don't tell us about all the wonderful things you could do in collaboration with us. And I say this, madam, because you are about the only one who's cared enough about us to even give us your ear. The fact is, I'm not talking to you as a person. I'm speaking to America as a country, its people, and the institutions that govern this country. The truth of the matter is that you have all these, your wonderful Magnitsky Acts and all of that. Use it to go after the criminals running our country. I'm not coming to your country on exile. We don't want your exile. Friends tell friends the truth. Tell us the truth and stop mollycoddling the criminals running our country. Thank you very much. Stop objectifying.
When they say, the brother say, now this thing America here finished. Then they say, no. Today we must ban all those criminals when rig that election. One make Pharaoh Timi come America, come finish us. People are saying that this thing Pharaoh Timi talk finish because you know past few days when they talk now America can't sanction them. Most of them they go one travel taking say then they free, they go catch them for airport, say go back, go and face the reality at home. Pharaoh Timi, thank you very much. This is one of the Nigerians that are making Nigeria proud. This guy, this guy is very intelligent, extremely intelligent. So people are saying that this is one in America here. They can't say no. Enough is enough for this nonsense. I don't want to talk too much. Guys, if you love what you're doing, don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Follow me on Facebook and Instagram, on Twitter, even on TikTok. All of my followers gonna love you guys. Peace out.